we're back with another video. What are we doing today?
So an interesting podcast came out yesterday on SMWX. Famous billionaire Rob Persoff had a few things to say about the economy.
Oh, him again, yes.
Yeah. So before we get into it, let's just check out this quick clip, and then you tell me what you think.
In terms of the economy, Rob, I think this is a really important conversation because so seldom do people in our country sit across from each other with maybe some different views.
Yep.
And just have a healthy conversation about it. You know, there's so
You and I
much...
have agreed on many of the things. Economic growth.
We have.
Maybe we need a crisis.
We have.
GNU's going nowhere.
Absolutely. And there's so much name calling that I feel that people get put into boxes and then we can't have a proper conversation when in many cases we all want the same thing.
Yes.
You know. And here's my honest question to you about, you know, hook, line and sinker going for a full free market approach in South Africa is I get worried about the structural problems in our economy. You know, the structural racism that I see in our economy.
Or people being left behind.
Absolutely. And I feel like if there isn't some kind of centralized investment in addressing that, it might take too long for the free market to actually bring about that kind of equality, not necessarily of outcomes, but at least of opportunity. So my feeling is that we've had so much state intervention into our economy in the apartheid years that it's kind of
ingrained.
Exactly, it's almost deformed our economy. So when you unleash a free market onto a deformed economy, don't you just get a deformed free market?
No.
You know?
I'll give you one example.
Yeah.
The aviation business in South Africa.
Sure. Something I'm sure you know a lot about, given your business history.
South African Airways was the number one airline in Africa by every measure. And it's now disappeared. It basically got bankrupted by the ANC.
Sure.
Destroyed. Like all the other SOEs.
Yeah.
What has happened is private enterprises jumped into the breach. Airlink, FlySafair are doing a perfectly good job flying people around. We don't need South African Airways. We don't need a state-owned airline. Now, the same will happen in every other sector that we have a state-owned enterprise. The private sector will step in. When there's an opportunity and an incentive and you're not overregulated, money sees the opportunity and it happens very fast. So the only way forward is free enterprise. And the beautiful example that's taking place right now is Argentina.
So what are your thoughts on all of
that? The sad part, and I don't know if it's sad or good, is that I hear this. You know what I'm saying? I hear the argument of the free market economy and, but like Caesar was also saying is that we're kind of not in the right position to do that, per se. You know what I'm saying? And it's not wrong of us to be apprehensive and afraid, and think of the people who actually are pushing it. It's people who are a little bit more confident economically, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Whereas the people who are apprehensive are people in a disadvantage and who understand who will be affected by this. And obviously he's not in a position to care about who's affected by it. It's like, it's your problem. You left behind. The world is moving. We're moving like this.
This whole idea of free market economy is being pushed by obviously the people who are in a good space economically, right?
Right.
So this is the DA's main push, and the DA's constituency all support this. They all want a free market economy, and the rest of the country are very skeptical of that because we know what that might lead to. Let's take, for example, his example here that he uses, aviation. And he said, okay, state-owned entity, SAA, bankrupt. So all these private entities came in and filled that void, right? But so even in that situation, it doesn't address the inequality that we are talking about here. We're talking about inequality. we're not just talking about the economic growth, and the economy just in general. We're talking about inequality. So in the aviation space, if you look, all these private companies that have come in to replace SAA, they're all owned by foreign entities. All of them are owned by foreign entities. Not one is owned, not majority owned by a South African.
Absolutely.
Yeah, not one.
Not one.
So what do you think is going to happen to?
And FlySafair is a huge example.
Yes.
Like
FlySafair even broke a regulation. Broke a regulation for that the majority of the owners in FlySafair are foreign, as a foreign entity. So if you just looking at his example alone, the market came in, and those who could capitalize on it. So what's going to happen everywhere else? Those who can capitalize on it are going to capitalize on it. So a free market economy does not address inequality. So all the people that are pushing free market economy are the ones that can immediately benefit from it. So Rob again doesn't understand how bad the inequality is here. He doesn't understand it. In the same video, in the same podcast, he was speaking about.
He's not in touch at all.
Yeah, in the same podcast, he was speaking about all the opportunities he gained just from being a herself. He spoke about that. He said that he met the most powerful people in the world. He said he met all the most powerful people in the world.
I was born extremely lucky and extremely privileged. Born into a wealthy, loving family. Parents are still married, still alive.
Wow.
Born into great wealth and given every opportunity. But it was interesting. My parents never spoiled us. We weren't given anything along the way other than opportunity. Because I've had incredible access, and take Rupert Murdoch working as his right hand as just one example.
I mean, wow.
In that role for 2.5 years, I met every single powerful person on the planet.
Wow.
Margaret Thatcher.
Can imagine.
Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
Everyone. Because just by being with Rupert, I met those people.
Yeah.
And, I traveled to extraordinary places, analyzed businesses, met really, really incredible politicians on both sides of the spectrum. And just having that access gives you wisdom.
Just by being a herself. So how can a kid from Ekasi compete with somebody like that? How can?
It's not possible.
It's not possible.
And neither will understand each other.
So somebody who's traveled the whole world, who's met the most powerful people in the world, who has all these connections. In a free market, in a free market economy, is expected to compete with somebody from Ekas.
That's why.
How does that work?
He doesn't understand that we don't. A lot of us are not fighting the fact that could be a great scenario. You know what I'm saying? But it's like we can't ignore the Okyasekasileyo, you know what I'm saying, and our families in the village and all of that and all of those people, and the fact that they could actually be excluded completely. Do you know what I'm saying?
The problem is they see it as if the economy grows, everybody benefits. That's how they see it.
But they're taking
if the economy grows,
no favors and no spoon feeding approach.
Yes,
not that spoon feeding is good, but
so their statement is true, right?
Yes.
If the economy grows, everybody will benefit.
Everyone will benefit.
Things will become easier to purchase. There will be more jobs and all stuff like that. Things will just become easier economically to do. If the economy grows. So their statement is true.
It's true.
But we are not saying
I
that.
feel like we have the underlying problem of the distrust.
No, it's not even that. The problem is these guys, they don't want to address the inequality. Their free market system does not address inequality. It can actually exacerbate it without government intervention. It can exacerbate inequality. And the rich will just get richer, and the poor might not get poorer, but the gap will just widen. In their minds, a better economy will create more workers.
I
in
agree
their
with
minds,
that statement.
which is fine, right? But we are saying that we just don't want that. We want a system that's going to create equal opportunities for a black child to become a CEO as much as a white child. So again, a big problem in all of this, and which is which is why I'm starting to understand Julius just a little bit better. A big problem in all of this is that they don't want what we want.
Yes.
You can't have a unified country when
Yes.
a certain demographic wants something else and then
Absolutely.
another. So until they want what we want, they want proper equality in the country, then fine, you can do your own thing. But us, we're gonna try and figure this out and try and make an environment where a black child can have the same amount of opportunity as a white child. We have to do that.
Absolutely.
We have to. Otherwise, again, free market is only gonna exacerbate the issue.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be a
We're
steroid.
tired of the Sant and Alex situation going.
Yes. Yeah, like you say, we can't have Alex and Santon. We can't have Khalicha and Cape Town. We can't have that. And free market is just going to exacerbate that. And if you allow foreign entities to come in as well and just do whatever they want there with all the capital that they have, what's happening in Cape Town, people are going to get priced out. People can't afford to live in Cape Town.
They're not against that.
Yeah, that's another thing I wanted to bring up as well in terms
They
of
are for that.
in terms of like aviation. Most South Africans cannot afford to take a flight to Cape Town on a random day. You're gonna have to budget for that, plan for that, and so forth.
But you can't just decide this weekend I'm going to see like randomly.
So
and some people have never seen a plane in their lives because they just can't afford it.
So these people don't think about all those things that this free market economy can bring those kind of problems where most people cannot afford the services. Most people will not be able to own things because foreign entities are coming in and making all the business here. But because the economy is going to grow and at least you're going to have a job and you're gonna be able to pay for stuff, you know.
To put food on
but you won't own anything because
you won't
foreigners.
enjoy life in your country. You won't go on holidays. You won't know life. You'll just be there, exist.
An unregulated capitalist system is never good.
It's crazy. And it's one of the things that are actually causing this global recession is because capitalism is really going unchecked. And now we are asking for it to be freely done. Like what? Like, are rich people just not tired of just milking life?
It's what they do.
Yeah.
But anyway, you guys just let us know what you think about this whole situation.
Yeah, let us know.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
And keep watching. Goodbye.
We'll check you guys in the next one.